Hey friends, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about something literally every college student deals with, but almost nobody talks about honestly: financial survival. We're not talking about financial literacy here, not wealth building, just surviving. We're going to look at how to stretch a tiny stipend, how to find money on campus you probably didn't even know existed, and how to build credit without falling into debt. Let's break it down.
If you go online looking for financial advice, you're instantly hit with terms like investing or buying real estate, right? Mainstream advice usually assumes you actually have disposable income, but college students mostly don't. You're not trying to build a real estate empire right now. You're literally just trying to get to the end of the month. So we're throwing out the traditional wealth building rulebook today. We're focusing strictly on surviving and doing it without the guilt of not saving half your non-existent paycheck.
Okay, Section 1, the three-bucket method, budgeting on a tiny stipend.
So, trying to use those traditional 50-30-20 budgeting rules when your income is basically a tiny stipend, it usually just leads to massive frustration. Instead, let's use the three-bucket method, which is designed specifically for a low-income reality. Bucket 1 is strictly for fixed essentials. We're talking rent, food, transportation, and your phone. These are absolute non-negotiables. They get paid first, no exceptions. Before you even think about buying a textbook or grabbing a coffee, this bucket has to be filled. It's your survival foundation.
Once that's locked down, we move to Bucket 2, academic costs. This means your textbooks, lab fees, printing, and those mandatory software subscriptions. The tricky thing here is that these costs are totally predictable, right? You know you're taking classes, but man, they are incredibly easy to forget about until they hit you all at once at the start of a semester. Keeping them in their own bucket protects your essential rent and food money from suddenly being wiped out by a $200 chemistry textbook. And finally, Bucket 3, your flex money. This is for that coffee between classes, a night out with friends, just a little bit of fun. Now, let's be real, looking at your stipend, this bucket is going to be tiny. And that is completely okay. Seriously, do not feel bad about that. You're just giving yourself permission to spend a little bit on yourself without accidentally eating into your rent money. This brings us to a super important point. The goal here isn't perfection. You're going to mess up sometimes, and some months a bucket might overflow. The actual goal? It's just awareness. When you know exactly where your money goes, you immediately stop feeling ashamed of it.
Moving on to Section 2, hidden campus grants. The money nobody applies for.
Okay, this feels almost like a secret cheat code, but every campus has free money that students just don't know about. Did you know there are emergency micro grants out there ranging from $200 to $1,000, and they're literally just waiting to be claimed? This isn't for tuition, it's for survival. If your laptop suddenly dies or your car breaks down, universities actually have these funds set up to keep you from dropping out due to a financial shock.
And it's not just for emergencies. Look at this list. You've got student success funds, department-specific travel or research grants, first-generation student grants. There are even leadership mini-grants, professional development stipends, conference attendance grants, and campus food pantry vouchers. There is so much out there. And the craziest part? The competition for these is incredibly low, mostly because students just assume they won't qualify.
So here's the big takeaway. Apply anyway. Don't reject yourself before the committee even sees your name. Let them be the ones to say no. Honestly, you'd be absolutely shocked at how often you get approved. The university wants you to succeed. Take 30 minutes, search your school's website, and just apply.
Which brings us to Section 3, building early credit, without the debt.
So, we've talked about surviving today, but let's take a quick second to future-proof your life. There's this massive misconception that to build credit, you have to go into debt or get some fancy credit card. Totally false. You don't need to spend money you don't have. You just need consistent, tiny activity. Here is the safe starter plan. Get a secured credit card or a student card. Put exactly one small recurring charge on it, like Spotify, Netflix, or your Apple storage. Set up auto-pay directly from your checking account. And most importantly, never, ever carry a balance.
And here's the golden rule for building that score quietly and safely. Keep your credit usage strictly under 10% of your limit. So, if your card has a $500 limit, never let that statement show more than $50 charged to it. Doing this builds an excellent credit history in the background without any of the stress.
By setting up this simple system today, your future self is going to be so thankful. When graduation hits and you're trying to rent an apartment, buy a car, or even apply for jobs that run credit checks, you won't be starting from zero. You'll have this perfect, quiet credit history backing you up, all because you automated a tiny monthly Spotify charge.
Let's wrap things up with Section 4. You are doing better than you think. The takeaway.
When you're constantly counting pennies, it's so easy to feel like you're failing at adulthood. But hear me out. You are not behind, and you are not irresponsible. You are just navigating one of the hardest financial seasons of your life. Being a college student is financially brutal by design. So, budget gently, find that hidden money, and build your credit slowly. You are doing so much better than you think.
I'm going to leave you with a quick challenge to kickstart this. Don't just close this explainer and move on. I want you to take one action right now. What hidden campus resource will you claim today? Seriously, go open a new tab, search your university's name, plus emergency grant or student success fund, and apply. You've got this. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.